Hello everyone, this is Gorax with another DragonHeir Silent Goods video. Today we will go over top 3 heroes that every player should have in the Season 4 rerun. As you know, we already played Season 4 and there won't be too many changes when it comes to the events that are happening during the normal season, which is Continental Challenge bosses, and the endgame is going to look exactly the same. In this video, I will go over my top 3 heroes that I expect everyone here to have in Season 4 rerun or go for them, as they are totally necessary or very strong and game-changing heroes. But before we go over them, let's have a look at today's video sponsor. This video is sponsored by Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force is a free-to-play, dynamic, squad-based RPG that brings Marvel Universe to life, where players assemble powerful teams of Marvel heroes and villains to battle iconic enemies in epic combat with endless team combinations and strategy gameplay. If this sounds good to you, use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get free characters such as Agatha Harkness this month. During your playtime, you will recruit both heroes and villains from across the multiverse, including Iron Man, Wolverine, and much more. Your goal is to power up your favorite characters to complete missions, unlock gear and other resources, as well as beat other players in PvP modes such as Alliance War and Arena. If you're a new player, you can unlock up to 17 total characters within the first 30 days, including fan favorites Spider-Man, Deadpool, Thor, and Captain America. New ways to battle with your roster are released regularly through multiple campaigns and new events. You can also join forces with friends or other players to create your own alliance and participate in multiple alliance game modes. New characters are constantly being released, and this month be on the lookout for the highly anticipated Sentinel team. You don't want to miss out on these mutant hunting robots. But there's even more. To celebrate the release of the new Marvel Studios Deadpool and Wolverine movie, players can redeem the promo code MUTANT to get their free Deadpool and Wolverine characters using my link or the QR code on screen. In my opinion, Marvel Strike Force is a game every fan on the Marvel Universe should try, as it allows us to use the most iconic heroes and villains we all get to love. Before we go over the heroes and my reasons for them being top 3, let's explain something. This list will not include any of the exclusive heroes, as they are powerhouses on their own, but they are not available in any of the banners except for the seasonal exclusive banners and the Oak Festival later on. So this list will focus on the heroes that we can get through normal banners. The top 3 hero is for those of you who don't really play PvP and want to build a strong team, as Asphalta is meta-defining. She's an amazing assassin that doesn't need haste and has a tremendous burst potential. She is not a Season 4 hero. She's available in Season 3 banners that will come in later, making the value of these banners once again really powerful. If you've been playing Season 4 previously, you know how bursty she can be. She can demolish the backline using just her battle skill, and then jumps and finish them with the ultimate skill. Her aura is also very versatile and grants us 30% attack in all battles. Sadly, Asphalta is not as a great pick in PvE, but she is PvP defining, and if you look at the meta teams, you will notice multiple teams utilizing Asphalta as a single damage dealer with 4 supports. To build Asphalta, the best way is utilizing Chaos Symbiosis gloves, as she does not get the recharge speed penalty at any way, so she is constantly dealing the extra 35% damage. While Echo of War set is one of the best for Ozul, as it is attack speed based, actually we build Asphalta with the Shade of Death, boosting her critical and crit damage. We're aiming for over 200% crit damage, even more in PvP, to utilize that set potential. The top 2 hero in Season 4 is definitely Astion, an amazing support from the Necrosis faction as well. As you can see, Necrosis can have good heroes. Sadly, there are not the summoning heroes. Now, when it comes to Astyon, her power is not only utilized in PvE almost everywhere, but also in PvP, as she is a meta hero mostly due to her passive that steals 30% of the enemy HP and 30% of their defense. 50% of the stolen attributes is transferred to the ally with the highest attack, making them quite powerful and beefy, so they are able to soak some damage before obviously the mission eventually. Now, she also grants a great 45% defense aura on the Grand Gladiator Arena, which is very handy, especially since we've been running her mostly with Theodemir and Fangia, and Theodemir benefiting from extra defense to deal extra damage. While her passive is mainly focused on dealing some damage and grants us crit damage resistance that is not really utilized in PvE, it's really good in PvP. Also, the allows hero to recharge extra ultimate energy upon the number of the enemies hit, which grants her less cooldown on the ultimate, which is quite cool, as it is a 10-second domain in the area that deals constant damage and heals all allies for 3.5% max HP. Now, when there is enemy within the range and the enemy gains a buff, there's 40% chance of replacing that buff with a random debuff that you can see on the list. This is a very heavy PvP kit, but we've been using her mostly for the early game bosses, dungeons, domains, almost everywhere to get that extra defense stolen from the boss, increasing our total damage. And this is why the early Thunderbolt team with Astyon is doing so good on the Vortex. I've been using her constantly this season in the end game. She boosts the damage of your Ice Blast team and your Shadow team quite significantly. If you run an Ice Blast team without Astyon, you're looking at around 120 million damage. With Astyon alone, you can get that damage up to 160 million using the budget Ice Blast, because I'm not talking about the Beldel. Now, when it comes to my Shadow team, that was able to do over 200 million with Ozul, Astyon, and defensive setup just to keep Ozul alive as long as possible. This really makes her a worthy pick and probably one of the best Season 4 heroes, as the next one on the list is a rather big surprise to everyone who has not played Season 4 before. Unquestionable MVP of Season 4 endgame boss that managed to get over 1 billion damage with a single team utilizing her passive. Her name is Bale Vernal. I'll probably butcher that name, but she is one of the heroes available from the chest that you get in Feymander or the Pillar of Trials. I'm not sure, as I claimed that quite a while ago, so make sure when you get these chests you pick her, as I know some people commented that they don't have her. Well, you need to get her. There's no excuse, because she is the one that will allow you to get massive damage on the endgame boss unless her passive will be fixed. So what's happening if you haven't seen the guide? Says we apply recovery over time on our heroes, the boss steals them, and then she's got 10% chance of converting 20% of their healing received into damage, which scales tremendously with the boss HP, as recovery over time is based on the target HP. So she is the best hero when it comes to Season 4. You won't use her through the game until the end game, but without her you have no chance of placing anywhere high in the leaderboards. And guess what, she's also Necrosis. So surprisingly, the top 3 heroes on my list are the Necrosis heroes. That's quite interesting, but as I said, I covered 3 different types of Bale Vernal formations. The one that is free-to-play friendly, you can get to 250 million or even more depending on RNG using the mostly epic heroes. Then a 500 million variant and over 1 billion damage variant, which is just wow. Okay, so yes, clever use of game mechanics, and she is the game-changing hero in Season 4. Sadly, you won't use her anywhere else. Her kit is not that great. You can use her as a Witch's Remain applier somewhere, but her use, her sole use, and probably the only time we will ever play her as spenders as Season 4 endgame boss as Catius. And once again, I'm going to highlight that you need to get her. Maybe they will patch it, maybe they will change her or cap it somehow, but you know, they didn't do that to Rook. Why should they do it to Bell? And obviously, it's a clever use of game mechanics already, and whoever found this strategy first, hats off for you, okay? So this is the top 3 that I believe are the most game-changing heroes, the heroes that everyone should focus on, as they can be used in multiple compositions, in multiple game modes, even if you don't play PvP. As I said, Asphalta and Astion, both of them together are doing an amazing job and will keep your ranks high. If you have other heroes that you think are better than those 3, please include them in the comment section, but remember, do not mention any exclusive heroes, as we know they are very powerful. I could put Rook in the top of this list as well, but I skipped him on purpose. I wanted to highlight different heroes that are also very powerful and can be utilized with multiple compositions, especially early, but also in the end game.